Good evening. Welcome to Captive Audience. I'm Sunny Danforth in Northeast Oregon, Umatilla County, and I am not tired of winning. I bet you're not either. Most of our Captive Audience regular viewers are not tired of winning at all either. I have to tell you, it was a beautiful spring-like day over here, although I saw planes crisscrossing the sky, leaving some trails. Looked like tic-tac-toe up there. But it's a beautiful day, and we have so much to be thankful for in our country. Oregon, not so much, but our country, yes. Well, I missed Wednesday, and I so appreciate Kevin filling in for me. And I'm going to give you a little secret if you didn't know. It was his birthday. He's such a doll. Well, I wasn't here on Wednesday because it was my husband's birthday, and I was cooking dinner for the family. And where maybe Kevin didn't have to cook, but I did. I wanted to have a dinner at home for my husband and with family, and we had such a nice evening. It really was. So sorry I wasn't here. So I have to catch up just a little bit. I have to talk about Trump's address to Congress. That was amazing. An hour and a half, and he just kept going, and he covered so many things. So many things. And, you know, a couple of big takeaways, of course, is somebody actually got censored for causing a ruckus. I was happy to see them get removed. And it was sad to see the Democrats cannot be. I saw they just don't have compassion. I don't care what their lip service is anymore. They do not have compassion because they showed it. They showed they couldn't have compassion for the people that Trump was bringing to light. You know, a 13-year-old boy, cancer survivor, and now becomes a Secret Service agent. I thought, you know, DJ, I thought that was so cool. And Corey Compertor's family and the others. You know, it was the young man who the young man who got accepted, you know, to a military academy. You know, the look on his face, and the same with the look on DJ's face. But the Democrats were disgraceful. Lori, yes, that's the word. It is. They were disgraceful, and that truly can't be talked about enough because that's them. Does that mean that all Democrats are like that? No. But the electeds that are in our Senate and Congress that are Democrats, absolutely. There was one Democrat that stood up and clapped. So you can't say all, but boy, is it close. They hate our country. And when you see that type of thing, I just went, wow, you know, they hate our country. And Trump nailed it when he said, there's nothing I can say or do that will get them to clap and be positive. And he was right. 100% he was right. And you know, Trump has been right about everything he said. He has been right about everything. If he says this is coming to fruition, by golly, that is what happens. So that evening, I wasn't able to actually watch the whole thing live. I watched it, recorded it, and then watched it later because, believe it or not, I had to go somewhere. Um, so I watched it later, and you know, fast forward, and anyway, it was really good. And one of the things that I really, really liked that was a big surprise was the announcement of the top terrorist responsible for killing our 13 U.S. service members during the bombing at Abbey Gate was in custody from the withdrawal of Afghanistan in 2021. There's never been anybody at all held accountable for that, for those atrocities. And for these 13 service members losing their life, and excuse me, I'm getting a little emotional here, but it's a big deal. That was like the icing on the cake. There were so many good points, so many that he did. But that was also an icing on the cake, I thought. So I just wanted to start with that because I wasn't here on Wednesday, to talk about that, and I just had to catch up. I just had to catch up. And Lori, you're exactly right. Many Democrat people had their eyes opened. Through social media, I have seen that people, there was somebody had posted that their organization, I don't remember what it was. I'm sorry. I'm just not able to pull that out. But they said, oh, yeah, we've just, registered like 1,200 new Republicans after watching that. The Democrats said no more. And I don't know how they could support the Democrats. Sorry. It made me tear up about our 13 U.S. service members. So yeah, you saw the true colors. They hate America, and it's been very, very obvious during Biden or administration, or should I say Obama's third term. We'll find out, I believe, but which is the case. Because of what was happening in our country, our border wide open, the destruction, the spending, and some of those things I'm going to get into tonight. But we saw the destruction of what they wanted to do. The pedal was to the metal, and trying to bring America into one world order and cause chaos, cause confusion in our country, the transgender of children, and on and on and on. So we've seen a lot, and now we're seeing things get reversed to what we can call normalcy, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful that is happening. Doge is doing an excellent job. I will tell you, Doge is they're finding so much. Sorry, it's not my nose; it's a tear running down my eye, down my face. So the EPA, let's go here. EPA's $20 billion slush fund. And so when Zeldin came in, he's only been in a couple of weeks. Just 3 weeks ago, I'm looking at an article came out today in Hot Air, and I'll post a link here for you. And saying, he's just come in a short 3 weeks ago, and what they're finding. Well, part of the way of being able to look is the fact that it was through Project Veritas had dropped a video back in December, and where one of the EPA managers was bragging that the Biden administration was metaphorically dropping gold bars off the Titanic. They're shoving every dime they could out the door to their NGO buddies. Well, now you've got the new head coming in and going, okay, now let's go find those gold bars. So thank goodness for Project Veritas video. That's what, blew that undercover work is what blew the lid off of that. And I will tell you that they've got the bank, Citibank is part of this. They have froze the money. That's the good news. They froze the money while they're investigating the legalities of all of this. $20 billion. This is no small potatoes. This is $20 billion. This is a lot of money, a lot of money. And I've often thought through, and I'm going to talk about Act Blue in a little bit, but looking at what's gone on through the Ukraine, let's see, we're going to shovel billions to them, and then all this money comes back. I believe it's a big money laundering scheme, as well as Act Blue. And so Doge is just, I'm going to say, kicking ass and taking names. They're discovering so much. It's fabulous. So 20 billion here, 20 billion there. Pretty soon we're going to have a trillion. And they're up into a lot. I don't know, 100 billion or 110 billion dollars. The last I heard. So I look forward to what Lee Zeldin is doing and investigating in this, and let's see what we can claw back, find out the legality of this, and especially when it goes, this 20 billion goes to 8 NGOs, 8 entities that are pretty much newly formed. So the corruption is going to find, and I believe that Doge is working as hard as they can, as fast as they can, to find as much as they can and shut it down. Shut it down. And today, a very good decision. This is from the Epoch Times, that a federal judge denied the request to block Doge from accessing Treasury data. And they had put a temporary pause, and this is a story of today, and they had put a temporary block on for a little bit, and now they've released it. It says, no, there is no imminent harm, permanent harm, or anything, potential harm. So yes, Doge, there you go. You've got access to the Treasury. And this is all very, very good. We need this type of an internal audit, and happening in our country. Let's find out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is. Let's find out. I'm just all for it. Well, that's interesting. When I posted this story, it posted it to, oh, I know why. So anyhow, then, so that's a good win for Doge, being able to go into the Treasury. So I'm sure they will very soon. Now into Act Blue. This story, James O'Keefe, he did an undercover reporting on Act Blue, and he did it, a couple of years ago. And he said, hey, that you do a little bit of investigative work and find out that these small donations, these people. And so he would go ask these people, hey, this person donated 35,000, in 750 times. That all added up to, you say, $35,000. So they would go knock on the door if you didn't see it, and say hi. He would say, I'm James Keefe, and I wanted to ask you, do you donate to Act Blue, Mr. Jones? And Mr. Jones, to the Democrat Party, and Mr. Jones would say, yeah, I do. He says, well, have you donated, $35,000 in the last year? What? Well, that played over and over and over and over multiple times. Well, that really showed something, right? But because we didn't have what I'm going to call a legitimate DOJ that would actually look into things, I don't know that went anywhere, but there it's been sitting. Well, now we have a Department of Justice. Now we have Doge. We have people in the FBI and in all of our agencies that want to do the best thing for America. They're not just, they're not trying to do it all for Trump. It is what's the best thing to do for America. He's brought in some of the brightest and people that have given up very lucrative careers to come and help our country. Going, you know what? I'm good at this. Let me come help. Let me help. So now, Act Blue is actually their crisis spells disaster for the Democrat cash flow, and there's been a mass exodus has kicked off last month when both the customer service and partnership directors, each with more than 10 years at Act Blue, bailed out. The former vice president, stride pinning her departure as needing rest after 14 years. No, 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 no. But congressional Republicans and 19 state attorney generals started investigating Act Blue for potential fraud, foreign donations, and suspicious contribution patterns. And the organization's last remaining lawyer got locked out of his email after posting about whistleblower policies. So this is the article from PJ Media. I posted it there in the links. And so I am so glad that there's an investigation going into them, and I think it's going to be amazing at what they find. And this has been the Democrats' money machine. Just like when Harris when she got installed to run for president, she all of a sudden went from however many millions, she ended up with $1.5 billion in a 2-month period. That's what they burned through in a 2-month period. It was our money, I would just about bet. Our tax dollars. I don't know this for a fact, but I do believe it. And funding the Democrat machine, funding the demise of America. So I say, bring it on, Doge. Sick 'em, go find it, and let's prosecute it. Whatever they find that can be prosecuted, let's prosecute it. So I'll tell you, it's something else. I'm looking at your comments here. Yes, so it's exciting times, right? Exciting times of what we're seeing, and you realize Trump has just been in 6.5 weeks. 6.5 weeks. It's at lightning speed. I love it all. And now here, Kash Patel, this is a story from Town Hall. Kash Patel's FBI shocks the nation with treason arrest just 2 weeks into his role. We have people that are hitting the ground running because they know that they've got a mission to root out corruption at every level, right? Anywhere. And so here you are, a treason arrest, 2 weeks in the role. So apparently the FBI has arrested 3 individuals on charges of treason. And which is going to be, it's an ongoing investigation. And the arrests were announced Friday, just 2 weeks after Patel took office. This story is today. And so, and they were 2 active duty U.S. Army soldiers and a veteran were in the process of attempting to sell national defense intelligence to Chinese agents. And the 2 active duty were stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord. Joint Base Lewis McChord has been way too much in the media in the last few years. So anyhow, I'm glad they busted him. Hooray. The soldiers are accused of stealing America's defense intelligence capabilities and empowering adversaries like China in betrayal to our country, Kash Patel had wrote on X. He promised the men would face American justice. Hooray. We're winning. And this is all very, very good news for us. Now, I want to talk to you about, if you hadn't heard, there is an investigation that is getting underway, and I am going to get into Oregon. So let me post this story from PJ Media. And it is, could a bombshell discovery render all of Biden's presidential actions null and void? Well, what they're finding is that nearly all of Biden's actions have been signed by AutoPen. And so far in its Heritage Foundation's oversight project has been doing this investigation, and it has revealed that virtually every document bearing Joe Biden's signature during his presidency was signed by AutoPen except for one. And the one that has his wet signature was his withdrawal for the 2024 presidential race. So, but you remember when the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, revealed his discussion with Biden when Biden couldn't recall signing the executive order halting the LNG exports? And now we know why. Maybe he didn't. He probably didn't. But the real question is, who did? Who was running the country while Biden was not all there? So who controlled the AutoPen? Whoever controlled the AutoPen controlled the presidency. And so I welcome an investigation into this, because if it is, in fact, here it says the use of the AutoPen dates back to the 1950s, and there's been much debate about its legality. In 2013, Barack Obama became the first president to sign a bill into law using an AutoPen. He was vacationing in Hawaii at the time, and so he used an AutoPen. But what's not clear in the case of Biden is who was running the AutoPen and whether Biden was aware it was happening. And I recall seeing that, seeing the interview with Johnson, Speaker Johnson, and him said, "Too bad you did that." He goes, "I didn't do that." Well, yes, Mr. President, you did. So that begs to question, what has gone on that he doesn't know about? And we all know with common sense that Biden has not, he doesn't have the cognitive wherewithal to know what the hell's going on with his cheat sheets, with his, he can't walk anywhere without somebody leading him. It wasn't always that way the whole entire presidency, but just about. It appears that way. So there is an investigation going on. I cannot wait to find out, because I'll tell you, if they find out that he's, and so what it is Missouri's Attorney General Andrew Bailey is demanding the DOJ investigate whether Biden's obvious cognitive decline, allowed unelected bureaucrats to essentially run the government without presidential oversight. And if this is true, and all signs point to it being true, every executive order and every pardon and every official action taken under Biden's name could be constitutionally void. Let's not mince words here. And that would be it. And had he, I believe there is a huge cover up here. I do. You know, you'd see Biden juiced up, and then other times he doesn't know what the hell's going on. And it wouldn't be the first time in our nation either, though. But I think this is the most egregious time. So I welcome that. I don't know how you feel about it, but I welcome that. So let me take a look at some of your, yeah, the astronomical lids and the beach days. Oh, yeah, you know, he's gone. Yeah. Somebody from Kenya. You got that right, you guys. Oh, yes. So, you know, we are in, the gloves are off. With Trump, the gloves are off. And you have to realize when he came in the first time, he didn't know the magnitude of let's say the corruption and how Washington D.C. was. He got to look under the hood and then get denied a second term, which was a blessing to us. And now he's got the reins again and can actually take some serious action and investigate where he knows that there's issues. And he's serious. Like today, he says that, you know, Trump has canceled $400 million worth of grants for Columbia University. 4 federal agencies warned that it's the first round of action against the Ivy League school. You're not going to, you know, it's one thing to have a protest and a peaceable protest, but not attacking people, not shutting down roadways, not stopping students or faculty from letting things continue on and continue running when you're paying big tuition and you're getting federal money. No. So I'm really happy, and others will take notice on this. So the contracts and federal grants were immediately canceled with the announcement, adding that it's the first round of action. The school holds about $5 billion in federal grant commitments. $5 billion. So $400 million is a drop in the bucket. But that's some serious cash. And it's a private university, or college, I should say. You know, it's an Ivy League college. I'm so happy. I'm just so happy at that. Well, this story from the Epoch Times: Homeland Security ends collective bargaining for TSA airport security officers. So apparently last year, Homeland Security and the Airport Security Agency signed a 7-year collective bargaining agreement. Well, that has now been dismantled. I'm going to put a link in the comments for you there. And it is, and that's a good thing. You know, what they've found is that they had, let me find it really quick. The Airport Screening Agency, TSA, now has more people doing full-time union work than we have performing screening functions at 86% of the airports. And DHS had said that. Of the 432 federalized airports, 374 airports have fewer than 200 TSA officers to perform the screening functions. The TSA has about 50,000 staffers called transportation safety officers, who are responsible for staffing the airports and making sure that, you know, everything goes safe. But when they start, they're doing more work for the union So, thanks to Secretary Kristi Noem's action, TSA transportation security officers will no longer lose their hard earned dollars to a union that does not represent them. Friday's decision will enable American travelers to have a more effective, modernized workforce across the nation's transportation networks. TSA is renewing its commitment to providing a quick and secure travel process for Americans. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm glad about this. And let's see. Let me see. So it's going to be interesting. I'll find out in a few weeks. I'll get on an airplane, see if there's anything changed. I'm going to be taking off for a little bit, a little trip to Florida. Well, guess what else is happening? I'm going to get to Oregon, I promise. Here it comes. Oregon federal buildings up for sale, according to the government list. And you probably heard there's a lot of federal buildings going up for sale. And so several are here in Oregon. You know, they want to shrink our government, get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse and redundancies. And if you were, and they're cutting the size of our government and the scope of our government, thank goodness. And so this is from courthouses to warehouses. The federal government is looking to unload 10 buildings from Portland to Baker City. And so this story is from OPB, and they're going to be getting rid of some buildings, you know, stopping leases, of course, and selling some others. And I think that's a good thing. I really do. There's no reason to maintain a building that we don't need. And I realize there's, including myself, we are not used to having less government. We haven't even seen what less government is going to totally look like yet at all. And I, for one, welcome it. And I can see, I can hear David, I can hear David Darnell cheering. Yeah, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of it all. We don't need it. And so things are getting changed, and it's a good thing. Let's sell off our federal buildings that we don't need. And yeah, I think it's good. It's costing us a lot of money. So Christine Drazen is the minority House leader, and she is asking to fix the automatic voter registration now. And so this I'm reading from the Oregon Catalyst. I posted the story there. And she is calling on the Secretary of State to take over ODOT's motor voter program in the aftermath of last fall's failure, of which more than 1,500 people, and I know it's way higher than that, were improperly automatically registered to vote. In fact, we already know it's in just shy of, I want to say, 5,000 or 6,000 people. But there was just about 1,500 that actually voted, and 3 are getting prosecuted, something like that. So ODOT, she says, is in a tailspin and struggles to perform core functions. It shouldn't be responsible for the integrity of our elections. Good for her. And, you know, there's been a pause on the automatic voter registration, but now it's coming back in. I don't think they fixed anything. I haven't read about they fixed anything. And frankly, DMV shouldn't be registering people to vote. It should be at the registrar at the county clerk's office. You know, or you have a form. You could do it online, or you have a form and you pick it up at the post office, or you pick the form up at DMV, and you do it all on paper. Let's get back to paper. I like paper. Now, I know Elon Musk doesn't. He wants everything all online, but that's kind of how we got into this. And I look forward to Doge. Gosh, there's calls for Doge to, go through our voter rolls. They've got so much they're going on, but let's give them a little time, and I hope they do it too. Go through the nation's voter rolls. Let's find where those duplicate people are so we can get them the hell and gone. I think that would be a great thing. Well, I want to tell you about a few bad bills. Right now, legislation's in session, and the Democrats control our legislature, so we are not going to get anything good out of that I've seen. Well, maybe we'll see. This Oregon bill, and this is a story from 2 days ago. Yesterday. An Oregon bill would prevent landlords from asking prospective tenants about their immigration status. And so, sadly, it has, I think this bill has come out of committee. And so they're considering this bill that you can't ask their immigration status. Let's see, you can't ask them immigration status on the census. That needs to be fixed permanently by Congress. And now here in Oregon, no, you can't do that, and you can't. We're going to protect the illegals in our state at any cost. So it would, 4 other states, of course, Washington and California, and Illinois and New York have said that access to rental housing shouldn't be contingent on whether a person was born or naturalized in the U.S. No, that's not the point. If they're born or naturalized, but if they are unlawfully in this country, why should a landlord be forced to rent to them? Why? Why should they? And so, unfortunately, all the Democrats, senators, and representatives sponsoring the bill, it's too bad. It's too bad. But there is an amendment to the bill that allows for landlords to inquire about a potential renter's immigration status if required by a federal government program that offers low-income housing. Oh, so only if it's a federal program, you get to ask. And if not, you don't. It's always two-sided. It's not equal for everybody. It's not fair for everybody. That's wrong. So that's a bad one. And lawmakers advance a bill that would allow striking workers to collect unemployment benefits. And this is so the union goes on strike and they just collect unemployment benefits. But they talked about this bill. The Democrats did. That I do believe our lowest paid minimum wage workers who are living paycheck to paycheck aren't truly able to exercise the right to strike if they functionally and financially cannot handle it. This wasn't about minimum wage workers. It was about the unions getting paid and being able to draw unemployment guaranteed. So they had 5 public meetings, hours of testimony, and they basically said, we're moving forward. So that one is moving forward out of committee, and I would guess they will pass it. Representative Ed Deal is, he has he testified in support of House Bill 2425, which would require Oregon public bodies to obtain certification. This bill is no to forced labor products. I like this bill. I don't know that it'll go anywhere, but I like this bill. And no to forced labor products. Well, what does that mean? Solar panels and many of the green energy things are coming from countries that have slave labor. That's what forced labor products is. Okay. They're made with slave labor, i.e., China. And so on February 24th, Representative Ed Deal testified in support of House Bill 2425, which would require Oregon public bodies to obtain certification, ensuring that their electric vehicles and their solar photovoltaic energy systems they procure are free from forced labor and oppressive child labor. So, and it would apparently come from a reputable third-party organization. I roll my eyes. I don't know about that, but it's a step in the right direction. And truthfully, I don't think it will go anywhere, but it's a good try. Thanks. Appreciate it. Umatilla County, that's where I live. They have put up a bill. They want to expand nuclear energy in Eastern Oregon, and the tribes are pushing back. They don't want that type of energy, and the bill would allow the county to pilot a small nuclear reactor project. And so Oregon lawmakers are considering softening a 45-year statewide ban to allow nuclear power in Umatilla County. The legislation has the backing of the county government, but the tribal leaders, as I mentioned, are opposed. And it received its first public hearing in front of the House Committee on Climate, Energy, and Environment last week. It's House Bill 2410. And one of our representatives here, State Representative Bobby Levy, is one of the chief sponsors, because it's actually, that's part of her district. And she does sit on the Energy and Natural Resources Committee as well. So, we'll have to see. And they're talking about, actually, Bobby Levy said, when AI on our phones that consumes an incredible amount of energy, we need to make sure we have a clean way to address these long-term energy goals. Well, we've got here in Umatilla County, as well as Morrow County. Morrow County would benefit from this, these newer type of small profile nuclear generating plants. These data centers take up so much. The cloud is not in the sky. The cloud's on the ground, and it eats a lot of energy. And so this is to help with that. I think they should make hydro to be considered renewable energy in the state of Oregon. And then, but that the tribes wouldn't like that either, but that would be going, oh yeah, we need that. We've already got it built. We just have to reclassify it. It was reclassified 30, almost 40 years ago. And it just needs to be done. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. And if you haven't heard about Clackamas County Commissioner Melissa Fireside, you've probably been living under a rock. She is accused of forging signatures of an elderly man and a state lawmaker. She forged a promissory note for nearly $30,000 in an apparent theft scheme involving two victims, an 83-year-old man and State Representative April Dobson. And she has been this explosive development detailed in court records, which were unsealed on Wednesday in Clackamas County Circuit Court, threatens her political career. And I do have an update. I don't have it in writing, but somebody let me know today that she has actually resigned as a county commissioner. So goodbye and good riddance there. But it doesn't mean the lawsuit's going away. She committed a crime and she'll be held accountable for that. And if a person is of that caliber that they just would do that and think they're going to get away with it, they have we never want somebody like that in a elected position. I don't care if they're the dog catcher. No, not at all. So she has resigned her position. There was some public meeting, and people asked questions, and they called for her resignation. So it's a good thing that she has. Then now the county can move forward and get a replacement. But her legal woes are not finished, and she'll get prosecuted. So I'll tell you, it's we are winning, even here in Oregon. There's a lot wrong, a lot going wrong. Oh, 4% tire tax, to go to ODOT. We don't have an income problem in the state of Oregon. We have a spending problem. And now I see that I don't remember which legislator said it on X. They said the federal government doesn't have an income problem. We have a spending problem. And it's the very same thing. It is what they choose to spend it on, wasting a lot of money and not really taking care of the smart things, like the infrastructure in our communities. No, we have to sponsor drag shows. We have to sponsor, I don't know what, name it, some idiotic stuff. But all over our state and many states, the infrastructure is crumbling. They're not maintaining it, and in our communities. And so, but there are states that are. They're all not like Oregon. So, hey, everybody, I want you to thank you for joining me tonight. Have a great weekend. Get out there in the sunshine. It is so beautiful. And this weekend, we have the daylight savings. We got to spring forward an hour. Yeah, I wish they would just stay on normal time and just stay there. I'd be happy. So this vote blue, no matter who has got to stop. Yeah, I have a neighbor that thinks she's living under oppression. She must resist. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of stuff, and we can have respectful conversations with our family, friends, and neighbors to try to educate them, bringing different things to light of, hey, how do you like this? Or how do you like that? Don't you think Doge ought to be finding those, 140-year-old people that are cashing Social Security checks? Shocker. And the credit cards. I love the credit cards. Now they've put a thing that if there's anything over $50,000, they have to get approval. They did a dollar limit, and it's hilarious. I'm so glad, because there's many people that realize, and Trump realizes, and economists realize, if we don't stop this wasteful spending, we are going to be bankrupt and in a world of hurt. So they're trying to stop the bleeding of money. And Oregon has got to tighten its belt. That's the best thing to do, is to tighten its economic belt, because the federal dollars are drying up. I, for one, am glad about it. But it is about getting back to the necessities. Government is Let's see, roads, highways, and police. Roads, highways, and police. I think we could get by with that. Don't you? Tell me your thoughts. So we'll be back next week. Kevin will be here on Monday. And I'm going to remind you all, you have to work on your taxes. That's what I'm going to be working on. I got to work on my taxes. I got to get my tax package in. So, got to get it done sometime, right? So just thank you. Spread the message, and don't forget to like and share it. And just thanks for being with me tonight. Have